Well, we're finally on the road. If you don't know, Ryan and I are moving back up to Alaska, and we've been kind of in limbo for a while, waiting on things to calm down, and may not be entirely calmed down, but we're going for it. So, the craziness of our car packed to the brim, and that little gap you can see is where we've been sleeping, so it's been fun. And we're just hanging out in Washington for a couple days to bike before doing the long trek through Canada. But I've been thinking with what's been happening recently in our world is caused me to think, how should we respond? How should I respond and to these issues of tolerance and violence going on, and just everything too with the pandemic and the different ways that people respond. And there are a lot of things out of our control often, and I don't mean entirely large worldwide events, but even in simple relationships with our spouse or with family or friends, we can't control fully how other people respond. And so I thought about this, and how then can we help to make or create positive change in our world, in our lives, in our relationships, without turning to violence, without turning to force, and just being, I guess, like, just revolting, or being negative in our efforts to create positive change. And I thought of two examples, and I know they're very common, but that's why they pop into my head. Mother Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi, two amazing examples of people who desired to create positive change, and they took a situation that seemed, incredibly difficult to change, and they just decided, I can make a difference. And so I read a lot about them and what they did, because I wanted to learn how they did it. What were their strategies? And they had a lot of similar strategies, so I'll kind of share it as just both of them, and some of the strategies may not be exactly one or the other, but I loved how they focused on one person at a time. They didn't look at the huge issue and become overwhelmed with how many people they had to help, and the huge problems they had to solve. They just focused on, who can I help today? What one person can I help today? What one thing can I do today to make a difference? And they did it. And by one person at a time, one day at a time, they made a huge difference. And the other thing that I really loved about what they both did is their efforts to understand the people they were serving, and not just the people they were serving, but also, everyone involved in their situation, in the issues that they were working with. They were good listeners, and they didn't put themselves above other people. I mean, both of them lived with the people they were serving, and lived like them too. And I think there's a lot that we can learn from that. That if we desire to make a change, we need to truly take time to stop and listen to those who are around us, even if they are people that have differing points of views. But to recognize what is similar between us, that we are all human. We all desire to have joy and peace in our lives. We desire to, have meaningful relationships, whether with family and friends, and to be able to pursue our dreams. These are all common things that we have as humans, and I think we need to look more for what we have in common, and to be more patient and listen to others. And then the final thing that I really love from Mother Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi's example is that they became the change that they wanted to see in the world. They didn't just preach to others what they thought others should do. They did what they thought others should do and what they wanted to have happen in the world. And I think that's the most powerful thing that we can do. That we need to be the change that we want to see. We can't end violence with violence. If we want more peace, we have to be peaceful. If we want to be understood more, then we have to understand others more. If we want, in relationships, if we want someone to spend more time with us, then we need to start by spending more time with them. If we want them to show more patience towards us, we need to start by being more patient towards them. If we want to see change in this world, then it starts with us. And I know that may not sound like a powerful thing to do, especially when there are such large issues going on. But I know that it is the most effective thing to do. It just starts one person at a time, and that one person can be you. Deciding to change and to be the change that you want to see in the world. Be the change that you want to see in your relationship. Be the change that you want to see in your life. So I leave that with you. Remember to live intentionally, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll see what the connection is like in Canada, but hopefully I'll be able to keep doing some lives as we travel up through Canada to Alaska. So we'll see you later.